healthcare professional before beginning any new healthcare regimen.
That's right. This broadcast is for some information to share with you. We want you to make your own decisions. We encourage you to do your own research. There was the Congressional Subcommittee hearing, 1994, I believe. 96, with the Cunari family. And in fact, we talked to Dustin Cunari and his mom and his dad just last week. And we've got some Skype interviews that we're going to be rolling in. One in just a minute with Dustin. You can log on to cpt12.org/Burzyński and see all of the interview segments with the Cunaris, plus more from Dr. Juan Martinez-Canca. Also, we've got the transcript up there from the entire film and some opposing viewpoints to the film as well. And you know, Eric, some of the feedback that we've gotten is you're not looking at the facts. You're not presenting facts. You're preying on gullible and desperate people. Talk to us about the facts in this film.
Sure. Yeah, not presenting the facts is sort of a confusing statement for me because every single thing that is in this film, I made a conscious effort, knowing ahead of time that I was going to build an interactive transcript with every line of narration and dialogue, every document that you see, to download in its entirety, to read it in context for yourself, to fact check. One thing that I've noticed at the sort of so-called opposition to this project is that when they claim that it isn't factual, and then I ask them quite point blank to try to defend their statement by going through the entire film and trying to disprove or debunk anything in it, they simply sort of walk away at that stage. They don't really defend what they mean by we're not being factual or I'm not being factual, frankly. And as for the preying on desperate patients, I have a difficult time with that as well. I don't know what that means. One might, as a point of perspective, well, maybe if you see a cancer billboard for a mainstream cancer center promising to cure your cancer, is that not preying on desperate patients? I don't know. I mean, this is not an advertisement. A billboard on the side of the road is. This is investigative journalism. It's a story about a doctor. I proved everything that is in it. That's all I've got. I don't really know how else to defend it. Well, and you know, we
even receive feedback from people saying this is an infomercial, this is an advertisement, that you're misleading people, that you're pulling people's leg.
Sure.
Address that, Eric.
Well, you know, an infomercial means that someone approached an advertising agency or vice versa, and they were paid money to make a commercial, like something that you see on television for a car commercial. And the difference between this and an infomercial is that I spent many months confronting Burzyński, trying to convince him to tell this story, and it took a long time to do so. And I used my own money, came close to bankruptcy, used my credit cards, and I acted as a journalist. I don't know what to say. I'm really sort of flabbergasted at the infomercial. I think it's sort of another sort of way of trying to attack my character or attack the film without actually going in and trying to attack or address the facts within it.
Well, that's why we've got Eric here in the studio. That's why CPT12 is exploring this issue. Again, we're using this as a fundraiser for you to lend your voice, to lend your support to independent public media. It's a very important resource in today's media landscape in the world. And again, this film was brought to our attention by one of our longtime supporters. So right now, you can support this station at the $60 level. You'll receive the DVD. It's the 2 DVD set of Burzyński. Well, actually, the title has kind of changed a little bit. Burzyński, Cancer is Serious Business. It includes a lot more material than seen in this broadcast. At the $90 level, it's the Burzyński DVD as well as the Doctor DVD. A lot more thank you gifts. Boy, the time is really going fast here. Let's go back into a clip right now.
I would just tell people not to give up, not to go with the flow and just accept the doctor's words as, absolute truth. I would say do your research and find alternative treatments, because Dr. Burzyński isn't the only one that's had a natural remedy for cancer that's worked. There's been other counts of people with other cancers or whatever that no one really knows about. The FDA kind of keeps that on a back burner, so no one can really find out about it, because the funding it's a mess, really, in my opinion. And I would just strongly encourage people not to give up and not to accept everything your doctor says, I guess. Do your own research.
I'm Rebecca Stevens, and I'm proud to be a journalist who asks the hard questions. With me, Azad Rastegar, who is a spokesperson for the Burzyński Clinic in Houston. When people call this an infomercial, what does that do to you?
Well, like Eric explained, I don't understand what they mean by the infomercial. Are they referring to those congressional hearings not being what they were? Are they referring to those congressional testimonies not being what they were? Are the patients who are there tearful, showing that they're in desperate need for this medication for this doctor, paid? I don't quite get the infomercial section like Eric perfectly explained.
Everything you've got.
She looks amazing.
She's doing well. I'm going to put you on some medication.
911, what's your emergency?
A patient of mine was arrested.
They have the wrong person.
I just want to know what happened.
Did the person do it? Are they guilty?
Those are two very different things. Side effects.
Of terminal diseases, and then they come to us for help.
For the treatment.
For the treatment, not for the diagnosis, for the treatment. So the whole platform of this is all just a bunch of misdiagnosed cases, well, I mean, you're insulting not the Burzyński Clinic, but whatever institute they came to us with that.
Thank you, Azad, and we will talk a little bit more about that at another point that's very important. Right now, though, we're going to go back on over to Sherry and Eric. Hi, guys.
Okay, phones are busy. That's great. If you support this kind of programming, give us a call. If you don't, log on to cpt12.org/Burzyński. You can even log on there if you do support the program. We'd love to hear from you. And as mentioned, there's a lot of resources there. All of the Kunari interviews are there. The Dr. Juan interviews are there. The transcript is there. There's opposing information there as well. You know, CPT12 is about exploring issues that are controversial, that might upset your worldview. But we're asking questions, and we're asking you to think, and we're trying to empower you with this information. And just like Dustin Kunari said right there, do your own research. Dr. Burzyński has said himself, there is not one size fits all, not for any kind of a treatment. Every individual needs to be looked at differently. So give us a call right now. We want to hear from you. Eric, what were we going to talk about? We talked about the infomercial. And let's talk about some of the research that you had to put into this. You said that you spent 3 years researching the subject matter. You had to fight to get into the Burzyński Clinic to even talk to Dr. Burzyński. What did it take?
Sure. After I realized I was going to have trouble gaining Burzyński's trust, understandably, I requested some patients. I said, I want to only speak to patients that were in your clinical trials. They had verified surgical biopsies, and they had never touched chemotherapy or radiation and only did his therapy. And he gave me a short list of those people, and I interviewed several of them, traveled around the nation, called in sick to work, traveled on the weekends, and I sort of put together like a 30-minute piece on these patients. I also got permission, which wasn't easy, to get a hold of all of their medical records from third-party diagnoses from places like the Mayo Clinic or wherever, as well as third-party oncologists verifying their cure, and all the records in between. And I gave that to Burzyński, and then I think he realized that what my intentions were, that I was going to be objective with this, and from there off we go. So it was a matter also, because he's a bit of a pack rat and loves to save all of his files, so it was very simple to go through all of his filing cabinets in his rooms to get all of the Texas Medical Board violations that were filed against him and the FDA stuff. And then all of the internal stuff that you're going to see later. You're going to see heavy documentation between him and the National Cancer Institute. All of that stuff. It was fantastic because instead of Burzyński just telling me that these things occurred, he was able to prove them all. And I was also able to take those documents and fact check and improve them for myself. So I'm very proud of how airtight this film really is.
Well, we have a lot of different comments. We can't read all the comments. Again, you can see them for yourself either on our Facebook page or at cpt12.org/Burzyński. But here's one, Sizzling Bacon. There are exactly two options. Burzyński's endless pay-for-entry Phase 2 trials have produced positive results that he has for decades failed to publish. In this case, he is hiding proof of an effective treatment from the medical community for the sake of money. We've heard that too, that it's very costly. He's overcharging people for the anti-neoplastin therapy. And we've got to go back over to Rebecca and Azad. So, actually, we're going to go to a clip right now. It's very crazy here live, and we're glad that you're watching. Right now, we're going to hear a clip from Jack Kunari, the father of Dustin, the young boy that was featured in the Senate Congressional Subcommittee hearings that we saw a clip of. And so let's hear from Jack Kunari here. This is very good.